What is up, guys? This is your boy Kid Ray, aka FightNightsFinest, and in this matchup we got me versus Boxing IQ 101, one of my friends on PlayStation 3, and probably the best head-to-head fighter I've ever come across. As you can see there, he's at a record of 103 wins and no losses, and I'm not gonna even lie, I'm not gonna even start to act like it was a competitive close fight. This is a video that I'm bringing you for the first time with me completely getting my ass handed to me. Like, he completely decimated me. This is the worst loss I had on Fight Night in about 3 to 4 months. Last fight that I had where I was getting my ass handed to me this bad was during the summer when I met my teacher, Dope Boy 78, and I was 90 and 15 at the time. I wasn't too bad. It was still a lot of stuff I didn't know about the game, but I was learning, and I was watching other people and taking some of the stuff they did and labbing out, practicing, and picking some things up on my own, and implementing certain strategies. But I was still youngin' at the time. Right now, I consider myself to be a complete master of the game, but in this fight, it still shows me that there's still a lot of discipline that I must learn in my styles and how I take fights and how I do things. Recently, I'm not gonna lie, I've been tooting my own horn, been a little prideful, almost like a relapse where I feel nobody's better than me. But I really believe in my name as being Fight Night's Finest, because I do believe I'm probably the best player on OWC in my opinion, and from what I've seen on Fight Night on the PlayStation 3. There's other good guys on here too, and just because you're sometimes the best doesn't mean you don't lose. In his case, I will have to say that isn't true, because I haven't, like I said, haven't got my ass handed to me this badly in such a long time. So it was a very humbling experience, this fight, and it shows me that not that I don't know a lot about the game, I just feel I have to implement what I know better into different strategies and things. Right from the beginning, if you notice, I'm still in southpaw stance. Kawasaki is a natural southpaw. That was his stance in real boxing. That's why it's put like that in the game. I'm not a southpaw fighter, even though I know how to fight southpaw. As you can see, I'm not doing too bad in terms of throwing combinations, but right from the beginning, I wanted to test his tendencies out as usual. My plan wasn't to win the first 3 rounds, as you're gonna see. I stay in southpaw the entire time. Fighting in fighting style. I'm still kind of devastated by this loss, because like I said, I haven't lost this bad in a long time. But I just want to figure out what he's gonna do, what he's about, what's his style. Just gathering stuff in the first round, I could tell he is a defensive fighter. He's gonna look for counter opportunities, and he's gonna fight tall. He's not a guy who's gonna move around the ring too much. He's not gonna come forward if he doesn't have to. And he is a very disciplined, good, solid boxer, and there's nothing else more to say about his style. It's exactly what it is. What you see is what you get. And my goal was to try to attack the body from the beginning, try to diminish his stamina right from the start. I saw a beatdown that Relapse was taking this morning on YouTube, and even though he did come back and get like a sweaty comeback, almost you could say that. He came back and he won the fight, and he did it by attacking the stamina. I mean, stamina attacks is something that I'm pretty good at, and I have showed it in previous videos like versus Ravage Land and others. But there was a mistake I made in this game where I was going to the body for no reason. He wasn't throwing a combination, and then I went to the body. I was just going to the body in order to land shots, because I was having a tough time landing anything upstairs. As you can see there, I'm starting to get a little better on the countering, kind of getting his timing down of his punches. But I never really quite got all his combinations down. They were simple, but when he threw them, it was kind of hard for me to tell. Everybody normally has, that I fight on OWC, normally has a specific time to throw punches. Maybe they might wait 3 seconds, or you might hit them on a combo and then they immediately want to fire back. But in this case, in this instance, he was just literally waiting for the right opportunity to punch. So it's whenever he figured there was a hole in my offense that he could go ahead and counter back on me, he'll go ahead and that's when he will throw back. Right now, it's still more the same. I'm still pressuring him. I'm still trying to get in his face. And I'm still trying to learn his tendencies. And that's going to be basically for the first 3 rounds. And recently, well, this isn't a recent topic. It's been a topic that's been around probably since round 4. I didn't have round 4. But it's probably been a topic that's been around for a long time. And that is, who is better? There's 2 different sets of fighters on this game. There's head-to-head guys, and then there's OWC guys. Yes, there's guys who fight both. Like, I will fight both. I will fight head-to-head. But mainly, I'm an OWC guy. That's where I guess you could say I make my bread and butter, is by going into OWC and fighting those type of fights. OWC is, as you probably already know, is just creating your own fighter, building them up, and then fighting other people's created fighters online. And head-to-head is using licensed boxers. By licensed boxers, we're talking about people who are famous, who are actual pro boxers on the world level, where got guys like Roy Jones and company on the game, and use those guys to fight in head-to-head. Thing that I noticed about head-to-head and OWC is, it's pretty much the same thing, but head-to-head does have its flaws, and so does OWC. Like, OWC has like almost perfect block, and if you know how to do it on head-to-head, it's almost impossible to hit people. I mean, body blows are more effective in head-to-head than they are in OWC. Like I said, there's a bunch of differences, even though I have quite a bit of time on the video to talk about them. I'm not going to really get into it. But the argument is, who is better? Is it head-to-head or is it OWC? From what I experienced, and this is just my personal experience, some other people might have different views on it, but what I've seen is that probably head-to-head guys are better. I'm talking about in terms of the cream of the crop versus the cream of the crop for head-to-head and OWC. I will give it to head-to-head, but at the same time, I only fought people on their level on head-to-head. I've beaten some good head-to-head guys like FightNightsFinest and other people on this game in their own mode. Like I said, I'm an OWC guy, but I haven't really taken the best of head-to-head and took them on in OWC, where most likely I will shine or I'll probably come out on top. In this case here, I'm in his comfort zone. This is what he does. This is what he knows best. I do know how to fight head-to-head, as you can see from my record. I'm not too bad. I can hold my own, but versus the head-to-head guys, like, it's almost impossible to hit them. Where it's like, every fight I normally have, I'm probably in the 40% landing, high 40, mid 40s, sometimes 50s or 60s if they're bad. And then they're normally always in the 30%. And you're going to see at the end of the scorecards here how the roles are kind of reversed, where I'm in the opposite position, which means he just completely owned me. I'm not doing too bad of a job at this point of controlling my stamina, but right here is the 4th round, and as you see, I'm in orthodox stance. Right now I'm trying to take the fight to him. I'm not playing no games, no troubles. I'm looking to win now from right here on, and sadly I can't force him to make an adjustment. Right now I feel I'm winning the round, but once he lands those counters, the rounds are going to pretty much go to him, and so is the rest of my confidence in order to win the fight. But the head-to-head guys, I feel like their defense is almost impossible to hit them. I had a guy on here that I fought, like, his name isn't too pronounceable, just only the middle part is MVM. Some good people would probably heard of him already. Boxing IQ asked me about him at the end of this fight, actually, and he was almost impossible to hit. Like, I would probably land like 3 or 2 punches out of the entire round on the guy, and he would just pick his shots, and his defense was just so good. He was also using Chad Dawson in that fight. I was using Bernard Hopkins, and pretty much he destroyed me as well. And then we did a fight where it was lightweight. It was Pernell Whitaker versus Pernell Whitaker, and I ended up rage quitting just out of the fact that, one, I don't like fighting somebody with the same boxer. Like, if you have Pernell Whitaker, I'm gonna choose somebody different. I'm not gonna choose Pernell Whitaker as well, but also just from being frustrated to the fact that I couldn't really hit him. I'm not a sore loser or anything, but you know, if you constantly putting out your best effort and it's not really producing any effects, you're gonna get frustrated. And you know, even if I try to change it up on him, it's pretty much gonna be the same thing. At this point in time in this fight, which I'm commentating on now, I can't really change up styles. I can't now decide to switch to an outside fighting style, because once I try to stay on the outside, he's going to take me apart, because now he has the opportunity to come forward. The thing that's keeping me from going down at this point is the fact that I was coming forward. Now, as you can see, when I start to back up a bit, he starts to land more on me. Once I try to stay on the outside a bit, Hopkins uses his range, Dawson uses his range very well, and he starts to land more punches on me. So even at this point in time, I'm recording this right after I fought him, so I don't really know what adjustments I could have made at the point. I'll probably have to go back and study the video a little bit more, but it's just complete domination that I took in this fight. And like I said, it doesn't really happen too often, so it's a humbling and it's a learning experience for me. So in terms of the question of who's better in terms of each game mode of head-to-head versus OWC, I will have to say from what I've seen so far is head-to-head, because after I learned everything there is to know about the game on OWC, and now I feel that I'm an expert on it, I have never been dominated this badly by an opponent. There has been times where I'll get maybe against one guy who, you know, he fights, there's a certain style that I just can't seem to handle. I know how to beat it, it's just something that gives me too much trouble to the fact where I don't want to try anymore, and I just want to hurry up and end up getting the fight over with, or I already know once I see it, it's going to be a losing match for me just based on how I fight. You know, sometimes it's just styles and matchups. When I say matchups, I mean it's like certain people that you fight that have a certain style, you know, that gives you trouble. Not that you're not a good player, it would just result in you getting a complete utter smackdown like I faced in this video. And you know, the style that he's fighting right now normally doesn't give me too much trouble. I normally can pick guys apart when they do stuff like this. It's the constant step into the same direction that I normally would step with, which would be my right, which would give me too much trouble. And then due to the fact that my fighter on OWC is an end fighter, it would take too long to catch up. But let me stay concentrating on the gameplay. That was just a bit of a topic that I wanted to discuss about head-to-head versus OWC. And you know, right here I'm still doing the same thing. I'm just trying to throw more, because I realized I can land about a 3-punch combination. I could land 1 out of 3. I could probably land 2 right there. He caught me right there. And as you can see, once I start to throw more punches, I realize I can hit him more. But he is firing him back. Which does give him the round. And because I'm throwing more and I'm missing more, my punch accuracy is going down. And you know, the judges look for aggressiveness, effectiveness against aggression. And by me going up there and throwing so many punches, is giving him the round, because I'm not hitting him as much as I should for the amount of punches that I'm throwing out. And by him just staying patient and staying defensive, it's giving him the round. And honestly, at this point in the fight, and just for the rest of the fight, I have no counter to it. Normally I could switch up to a certain style, like I might switch to outside fighting. I'm not really inside fighting with the guy. I'm kind of boxing with him. It's kind of more of a, I'm desperate at this moment. I have to throw punches. I have to throw what I know. I have to do something to try and land, or something to create a counter. Countering I can't do because I can't pin down his timing of when he's going to throw a punch. Sometimes, as you can see, when I pump block there, I'm waiting for the receipt to come by so I could maybe hit him with a side step, or I could backstep, or I could probably move my head a bit and get a counter off of it. However, that's not the case right now because I don't know his timing. So, one, I can't control the amount of counters that I land, and land or throw more counters than he does. So that's one part that's not going to give me in a round. Two, I'm being more aggressive I'm throwing a lot more punches because I'm desperate and I need to land in order to win the rounds. My defense is not doing too bad of a job, but the difference in the round is that 1, he's being more patient, 2, I'm throwing more, and 3, he's actually finding counters. So at the point in this fight, I didn't really have a counter to it. One thing I think I could have done better was probably, now that I think on it, is probably just be more defensive, you know, probably not be so aggressive. I was landing power punches with that push straight, or just a push to the body, just push and then throw a punch afterwards, which will give me an opportunity to land. But it wasn't really gonna, unless if I spammed it, which I probably could, I wasn't gonna win the round anyway, especially with him getting the counters. If you land more counters, you're 9 times out of 10 gonna win the round because of your effectiveness against aggression, which is something that the game menu says that the judge's scorecard looks for whenever it's determine who won or lost a round. You know, not that the judge's scoring on this game is perfect, because it's far from it. There's times where I landed way more than my opponent, landed more power punches and counter shots, and they still gave my opponent the round. So it's not that it's perfect, but in this case, it's doing a pretty damn good job of determining who's winning and losing the rounds. As you can see, due to my over aggression and my desperateness, I'm now low on stamina. So now things are gonna definitely get bad for me if I decide to take a step back. Well, I take one right there, but when I say take a step back, if I try to switch to outside fighting, as you can see right there, my hands are down, my stance is going, I'm tired, and you know, eventually he's gonna realize that. I think he realizes it the next round coming up, actually. It's just gonna be a round where my stamina is extremely low, where he's gonna realize it, and then he's gonna go and try to take advantage of it. But you know, it's the same strategy. You know, right now I'm not able to get inside, and then he just starts picking me off. I get a counter right there, but he starts picking me off once I can't get in close. Once I'm not chest to chest with him, and he's at mid-range, he's just picking me apart. I don't do well at all from mid-range. It's either I'm going to be outside of his range and let him walk into shots and get hit, or I'm going to be up close and I'm going to try to land the best way I can and land all the punches I possibly can. But the best chance I had is when I've been close to chest to chest with him. Not when I've been on the outside. Not when I've been at mid-range. I do okay once I'm on the outside. Right here, you see I'm hurt and I'm not thrown here. I take a step back, and once I start doing that, my stamina starts to regain a bit. But you know, then he has, and I have to get back inside, and then it's gonna cause me to get picked off more. I'm starting to be a little more defensive here because he hurt me, and I want to kind of regain my health before I step back in there, because you know I'm gonna have to slug it out with the guy in order to even have a chance of maybe getting a sweaty, which is not gonna happen. But this is my thinking at the moment. I think I gotta get close to him, and maybe I could throw punches. Maybe he's low on stamina. I mean, I notice his stance isn't as if he had 100% stamina, so I'm thinking he's probably in the 70-80 range, while I'm obviously down below 50%. I'm probably in, I'm about to say high 40s, low 40s, maybe high 30s. It's just not where my stamina should be in order for me to win. And as you can see right there, he's just picking me apart whenever I can, whenever I'm at mid-range and I'm not chest to chest with him. So it's just more of the same in this fight. It's just more of the same beat down that I've been taking all fight. And there's just nothing really much more I can do. The fight's pretty much lost. It's been lost once I realized switching to orthodox stance from southpaw stance, that the fight's been pretty much over since then, when I realized I couldn't outbox him, I couldn't outland him. If I wanted to make a proper adjustment, I probably would have had to do it at that time, but now it's just too late. I don't have the stamina to come back. Head to head, there's not a good chance of you getting flashed. So it's just gonna be more of the same for the rest of the fight. It's just me trying to, and right here I get stunned by a left hook, and then he just wows out on me with some fast, quick punches, and that puts me down on the canvas for the first time. There's not gonna be no chin checking for me today, and there's not gonna be no sweaty comebacks neither. I'm up against the ropes. Right here I'm still in southpaw. I forget to switch back. And you know, I try to fight back real quick. Maybe if I could hit a stamina from him being over aggressive, I could probably get a quick knockdown. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I could test out something that he's doing. And no, it's nothing really changes. It's just the same thing. And, you know, I'm watching it now and I'm thinking, why am I repeating the same cycle? Now I'm up against the ropes, and he stuns me and then takes me down again for the second knockdown that I received in the fight. And, you know, I'm looking at it now and I'm like, what can I have possibly done? It was just a perfect gameplay on his part. And now that I'm not being the aggressor, now I have to use my defense and see if it could help me to stay up. Cause now I'm getting beat down. I lean back there, get some good blocks off of it, and then, you know, he goes right back to what he's been doing. He goes right back to work. Now he can be aggressive. Now he can turn up the heat. Because now I don't have what it takes to fight back. Not that I don't have combinations and stuff lined up, but I don't have the stamina. And my damage is low because I'm cut. And right there I go down for the third time. All in one round, which never happens to me. I go down for the third time. And I get up here. I don't think I'm going to let this guy knock me out. That I will save for the end for you guys, but now I have to use my defense and kind of survive and, you know, maybe look for a way to win the fight next round, which I don't do. I'm just at this point, I just don't want to get knocked out. So what I end up doing is right here I'm thinking defense. I'm thinking just like a fighter would who gets tagged and, you know, he knows he's hurt and he knows he can't win the fight. I'm just thinking, don't get knocked out now. That's what I'm thinking. He starts throwing back at me, of course. He starts taking an aggressive style, waste some time there. I try to get off the ropes with the clinch, which will give me some separation. And then I'm able to move back around the ring. However, I go right back to the ropes. You know, normally I have a technique where I will move forward. And because people are so cautious on this game, they will step back. And then that will allow me to get back to the center of the ring. So right here now, I'm trying to use my defense and maybe throw a punch out every now and again in order to keep me from getting knocked down. As you can see, he's being more aggressive here. And you might see me slip a few punches and I have an opportunity to counter back. However, I don't take them because my stamina is low and my health is pretty much low. So I don't have what it takes in order to counter back and, you know, really hurt him or do a lot of damage without me receiving another shot. Right there, I use my head movement. That's a little defensive technique that I learned from one of my boys. You know, it keeps me from getting knocked down. It does its purpose. Because my stamina is low, my blocking isn't as good. I lean down there to block those uppercuts to the body, and that doesn't really work. So I try to escape the ropes real quick. But, you know, it's still much more the same. Throwback. Whenever I'm just trying to keep him off me, and it just ends up being the same thing. Now I feel like I'm fighting my boy Killer Gorilla, who always comes forward and always traps me up against the ropes. And, you know, I have to use like step backs, and I have to wait for opportunities to punch in between his combinations in order to throw back and land some shots and win a round. And yeah, when I fight Killer Gorilla, that's normally what ends up happening. But in those cases, I have the stamina and I have the health in order to fight back without worrying about too much of being knocked down in terms of being worried. And he stuns me right there, but that's a late hit. And I end up losing the fight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is your boy Kid Ray 8, aka FightNightsFinest, signing off.